when they wanted them, which is towards the end, when they were finally able to catch a couple of members ganking Summit's Jace lane at the top as the game went on. They closed the game pretty fast. So it's not like we had Jace solo killing and then teleporting in and team fighting, and that's why he had high kill participation. It's because the game was completely followed to the beat of Sandbox's drum, and it was a really impressive macro performance from a team that's usually known about just having very bloody LPL-style games.
Yeah, exactly. Sandbox is the team that has the highest damage per minute in the league at the moment, and it's because they go face first into their opponents. We thought they might do that again based on the draft that they had, but speaking of drafts, we're in game number 2. Sandbox on the blue side this time around, already banning the Nocturne as their second option after the Yasuo that they banned on red side in game number 1.
Do notice no roster changes for Afreeca.
Yeah.
That means I want to see Afreeca go for a very simple to execute comp, because I feel like right now, you cannot question any of these players individually. I think some people are very skeptical of Dread because he hasn't shown much on stage, but this is a guy who at the end of the Season 8 ladder, when it locked, and when, of course, we have now the Season 9 ladder. At the end of the Season 8 ladder, he had the highest win rate percentage in Challenger of 72% win rate in Challenger. Unbelievable win rate in solo queue. So these guys are very talented, but their fundamentals macro-wise are very poor based on what we've seen on the Rift in the LCK. So I don't want to see a return to game number 1 where they're just kind of running around the map and not being able to find anything. They need very clear win conditions that everyone can spot. They had to leave something up. They're going to ban the Ezreal this time, so it's going to be a Thresh return for Joker.
And it feels like red side needs to have Ezreal and Lucian bans if there's an Ezreal player on the other side. And Ghost did prove himself in their last series as a player capable of wielding the Ezreal. So they are going to take that one away, and that means that Joker now gets one of his favorite picks. He was the one that was pinched in the first game and is not going to be this time around. The Jace is going to be picked away from Summit this time on the Afreeca side. It has been a very powerful pick in the LCK for the moment. Where is it going is the question.
Afreeca, red side, they get to first pick Jace, a flex pick. Here's how you win this game as Afreeca. You make it into counter picks and win lane, win game. Because that is something these players know a whole lot about.
Yeah.
They are very good at laning. They came in, you remember, with 2 losing solo lanes. That were actually the reason they lost, because it just became a 1-3-1 game where they couldn't match. Now we need winning solo lanes for Afreeca Freecs. Sandbox know this, so they're going to try and find some blocker picks in the first round to the potential for lanes to be destroyed. LeBlanc banned by Afreeca draws a pretty safe lock-in of Zoe. So can Afreeca Freecs find a way to actually punish a blind Zoe?
And I find it so interesting that the Braum is being picked up here by the Afreeca Freecs when the Zoe was available. Yukal is a great Zoe player, and they could have played exactly the combo of champions that Sandbox wielded against them. And Yukal, he says he wants a dragon, and he's going to try and comet his way into a victory this game.
This is the first professional game for Yukal on the Aurelion Sol, as far as I can remember, a champion who has not been able to function as the champion's history would suggest. We have not seen roaming with jungler plays from the Aurelion Sol, but the jungler here on Afreeca is potentially going to be 5th picked and could be one of Dread's favorites. If I'm Sandbox, I consider banning Kindred, because Dread is a legendary Kindred player, and if Kindred and Aurelion Sol can dodge out a lane, people are going to die unless there's significant mistakes by Afreeca.
Well, Sandbox, now their last ban to come in here. We'll see whether they augment that with another 80 carry ban. A lot of them are already hitting the deck now, as Varus is going to be taken off the board. Caitlyn is there, and Draven is also available for Ghost. So certainly a lot of different options with Ashe globally banned. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already taken off the board. 6 if you include Yasuo as a bottom lane pick.
Now they could just go for an aggressive pick that straddles the line a bit more, considering the Elise here. Very strong duo, of course, when it comes to ganking, and we always talk about mid-jungle.
Yeah, I like it with the Aurelion Sol.
But especially with Aurelion Sol, it's not going to be about lane, because obviously you're trying to wave clear and not get hurt too much by a max-range paddle star. In the actual interactive laning phase, out of lane, Elise and Aurelion Sol can be some big-time bullies, and Afreeca are holding on to their 80 carry pick for 5th.
On Fleek, thinking about taking the Malrong special here as the Xin Zhao is left available. 3 seconds to go. He's got a lot of different choices that he could make, but the Xin, I think, makes more sense than that of the Camille that he was defaulting to in their last series. Looks like he's completely moved away from that pick now, finally, on 9.3.
Huge combat advantage for the Xin Zhao against the Elise if it's just a 1v1, because if the Cocoon misses or is flashed over, you're dead as Elise. Xin Zhao will kill you. Cassiopeia going to be claimed as a bot laner in this particular game. Goes to returning to an awesome dude, another mage in the bot lane for him. That is what you have to contend with.
Oh, Kaiser is left up.
It
okay.
Is something that just wants to trim waves against the Cassiopeia.
Yeah, you're going to scale up though. It's not going to be exactly the easiest lane situation, but aiming will have that advantage as they move into the late game. Once those evolutions do come in, we'll see what style of build he goes for, whether it's BF or double pickaxe, or whether he goes for the Blade of the Ruin King, like we've been seeing from a lot more players recently.
So winning lane-wise, check in the top mark. You like Jace into Urgot without a lot of jungle help. And in the mid lane, you don't get the check mark, but you're taking Aurelion Sol, so you know that it's not about the lane. However, so far, from both BDD and also from Fly, getting Aurelion Sol out of lane has proved impossible for teams. They haven't been able to do it in the 2019 meta. Can Afreeca make us believers? Because right now, we heavily discourage them from trying to play 20+ minutes macro League of Legends, because they have shown with this lineup no aptitude to do so.
Yeah, not happening. But if the communication just needs to be between your jungler and your mid laner, that makes a lot more sense. Looking at the roster here for Sandbox Gaming, Urgot, Xin Zhao, the Zoe, and Cassiopeia Thresh. The bottom lane of choice for a lot of teams here in the LCK has been locked in. It's powerful. We haven't seen it win every matchup, and could be a difficult one here against the Afreeca Freecs. We'll see whether Afreeca can make it work with the Braum Kaiser down towards the bottom side. Top side of the map, Jace, Elise, and Aurelion Sol, and certainly fits their play style of the players individually much better than Game 1.
I'm just fascinated to watch this 2v2. Zoe's in, best case scenario, you die real fast. Aurelion Sol, Elise want to get 2v1, not 2v2. So they want to get on the map, so it's going to be really interesting to see if Afreeca or their opponent Sandbox can take the lead there, because my indication is get the lead in the 2v2, and that could snowball you to a victory.
And I think vision is just so important as well. So much pick potential on both sides. Let's see what happens as we hit the rift. All right, Sandbox and Afreeca. Afreeca, once again, all grouped together. As Sandbox just move their way back into their jungle, they will be fine. Understandable that Afreeca is going to invade with the Braum. Braum pretty good at invading, is now aiming, has about nowhere to go. But Ghost is going to respect, don't know whether he necessarily needed to, just there.
Yeah, for now at least, it's going to be Sweeper Star, you'll notice, from OnFleek, trying to get any vision lead you can when Rift Scuttles could be a contention point for an Aurelion Sol, or for the jungle matchup again. In the 1v1, love Zoe into Aurelion Sol in the lane, big outrange, and obviously for come level 9 on one item, you are poking him for a lot of his health. Can't really fit in magic resist outside of the Merc Treads early, Banshee Veil a second or third option in reality. And then Xin Zhao, if he is not cocooned, will kill Elise. Elise very, very squishy, so you can flash over that, you can sidestep it. Not to like isolated, but this should not be isolation. This should be Yukal and Dread being best friends forever.
Exactly. And we mentioned it already. We talk about it a lot with Elise. It's who face checks who. And if you're going to face check her, she's going to kill you. And otherwise, OnFleek will definitely murder you with his Hail of Blades and Xin Zhao. So see how the vision goes for both of these teams. Keep your eye on the minimap to see who's got the most dots of their color, to see who's going to be winning in these early skirmishes.
Do notice there was red wards on the top side, so they know Xin Zhao has started bot side. Does Afreeca Freecs? The moment that Elise enters that side of the jungle, there is blue vision there. The only blue ward that's actually spotting a camp is on their own blue buff. So it's going to be largely about OnFleek dodging Elise at the start, and it seems like a trade of blue buffs and vertical jungling to allow the Jace to push up very aggressively and play out the lane like you want to into the Urgot.
Yeah, will be a fair trade between the buffs and the Rift Scuttles, though, for both of these junglers, so both of them will be able to get around and do what they want relatively effectively. So we're probably going to see Gromps traded on both sides and Wolf Camps denied on both sides as well, as is the current invasion tactic. Avoid those rubber bands to be happening, to be set up for both of your teams.
Keen going to try to lane dominate as hard as possible. We already mentioned in game number 1, practice partners for all of 2018 were Keen and Summit on Afreeca Freecs. They were the starting and sub-top laner respectively. Here's Dread, level 3, but very, very difficult to make this gank work against Cleanse Zoe.
Yep, means UCal can stand up further forward with his Celestial expansion, and I believe Dove just missed that cannon creep there as well. So Freecs are going to get a little bit out of it, even if it's not anything that you can see represented on the scoreboard. Is
looking for a dive.
Yeah, they're looking on over, and this is what we asked of the
Yep.
Afreeca Freecs.
Loving it. This is exactly what they need to do, and here we go.
Yep, there's the Comet of Destiny in from UCal, and Afreeca Freecs, they want to try and find this one. Good stun is going to land. They dive on forward, and it's Keen that grabs the kill. Papa Smithy with the clap as Afreeca Freecs finally do what we knew they could do at the beginning of the season.
Classic Aurelion Sol, been on the Rift for years now, but not seen in the LCK. They get out of the lane, and that was all set up from the communication between mid and jungle. Dread is there to guarantee that UCal can push the mid lane wave so he can roam. That wasn't about a back timing, it was a roam timing. There's no good time to flash, unfortunately, for Summit. Whenever you flash, you're not going to be able to get both the Q from the Aurelion Sol and the Cocoon in that flash. Flash the Cocoon. Sorry, mate. Q is up, and of course, you don't have to channel it for as long. They get the kill here, and they continue to deny resources from the Urgot and get turret plates, because that is the ultimate objective you're looking for.
Yeah, and they also had the mini wave set up there for the repel to get the Elise out, so everything working here. The Afreeca Freecs as Dread makes his way topside yet again.
Baby.
Exactly right. Summit needs to book it out of here. No, you don't want to be
Come
warding,
on,
my
Summit.
friend. He's just going to dive on forward, and that is a very dead Urgot. Purge ain't going to be up, and Keen's going to grab a second kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, that's a dead dragon.
All right, let's focus on what was on screen before we get the replay. That is actually really bad top laner sense from Summit.
Yeah.
Jace is tanking the minion wave in a spot where he doesn't need to, which suggests the enemy Elise has to be there. The enemy Elise is there, he dies. And that is exactly the equation he took on. We're going to watch the replay of the mid lane to fully understand this, though. This is UCal going for a ward. Both of the kills are from face checks on Brush, but the UCal one is understandable because he doesn't have any vision around the area, and there's no tell from the enemy mid laner. There's a huge tell that Keen was tanking up the minion wave there, and I think Elise is there 8 out of 10 times at minimum, and every time of those 8 you die.
Exactly. And also, I mean, UCal, to his credit, did manage to get 2 flashes for his, as Aurelion Sol does fall, but not going to be punished too much, able to comet his way back forward, and I guess the advantage here for Dove is that he gets a couple of stacks on his Dark Seal.
Dread doesn't know.
Yeah, okay, the Spiderlings are all going to die as Dread does get out onto the Vision Ward. Okay, Flash still available. That is very important, as I didn't need that to kill Summit earlier on the top side of the map. On Fleek trying to punish here by taking a Mountain Drake.
That was really good communication from Sandbox. The control ward there is an inspired spot because it gets a lot of information about a future dive, and it allows Unfleet to get the Drake at the same time. That's the cool thing about it. They get an extra objective Atlas, and they were getting 2-for-1 and 3-for-1 specials in game number 1. They're trying to get whatever they can in game number 2.
Yeah, I feel like their coupons certainly haven't expired here in game number 2 just yet, Papa Smithy. I think you're exactly right. Unfleet does take a lot of time to take down this dragon, but he will be able to secure it. And Dove, pretty comfortable here in the mid lane as well. Does have a pretty decent advantage, and with his couple of Dark Seals, as well as his Corrupting Potion, is going to be very comfortable. Elise makes her way top, but they're not going to be able to dive him just yet, especially not without minions around. Beach Ball not going to land there onto UCal, but Dove's just getting his eye in.
What they need right now is for Keen to actually spread his lead in a way that Jace can do but doesn't always, and ward camps. They need to know what's happening at enemy Raptors a lot more than you might think, because the control ward is sticking for now, and we already know that if we don't know where Xin is, Xin can kill Elise very easily.
Yeah.
As that's just the nature of the 1v1 matchup. So they actually need a bit of help to actually be able to punish the top side, because otherwise Elise is camping the one control warded brush that Summit needs to play around. Every other brush is sighted here, and they're getting less out of the Jace lead top side than they should be.
Well, right now, Dove's just laning against UCal. You saw Jelly making his move here towards the mid lane, and it's not exactly a similar scenario that we saw in our previous series, which was Deft being left on his own because aiming's getting trashed. In the farm, on Fleek, is lying in wait here. Dove has a proto belt they can get over. All the vision is available for Sandbox, and a Paddle Star should be able to lock this one down, but Dread decides that he's just going to take that one away for himself. And Sandbox not wanting to bite off more than they can chew at this stage.
What I want fans at home to appreciate is that with those 3 control wards, Sandbox were the architect of their own decision there. They're against a team that has a huge roam advantage. Damn, Aurelion Sol, right?
Yeah.
And yet, they can make the choice of are we fighting or are we not with full information.
Oh.
The map hacks there are relevant, Atlas, because they said, no, I don't think we can outplay in this scenario, we'll back away. They didn't just have to dictate. They weren't dictated to. They actually chose to play defensively.
Yeah, they did. And what's happened here is Freecs managed to get a 2-level advantage because Dread's been roaming around with his team and trying to camp rushes for these ganks. We've seen this before from Elise's as they've been picked up. I feel like the man who's really been able to control Elise play so far in the LCK has been Clid. His Elise has been fantastic. His balance between when he should farm and when he should sit in brushes has been beautiful. But Onfleek is really making Dread look a little bit silly at this stage, being so far ahead. And
I want to be right there with you, just proclaiming how good Clid is to high heavens, but I actually think it's more significant and more damning than just what you say. It's SK Telecom T1 that have been able to play around Elise drafts, because when they're making the invades, they're not invading with a 3 control ward disadvantage. They're playing around lane pressure and their vision really smartly to use Elise's deletion and reliable long-range CC to good benefit. Instead, we're seeing Elise invade with a vision disadvantage and kind of get something and kind of not, because Afreeca are skipping steps and allowing Sandbox a lot more agency around mid lane plays than should be possible, because this trio topside should be getting turret plates and huge CS advantages, and while they've got the CS advantage topside, 1 turret plate topside, there's no more to show, and it should be more after their very inspired early game.
Yeah, the most impressive trio topside, though, at the moment, Papa Smithy, is the 3 control wards that Sandbox have sitting here, just chilling, making sure that Afreeca can't get in or do anything and control this matchup that Summit and Keen have between one another. That's why Summit is actually capable of standing this far up, especially now that his flash is back off cooldown.
If those control wards are gone, and they've actually been moved to a different type of triangle now.
Well, it's even further forward.
Those 3 control wards, having, again, 3 defensive control wards, when you just got dunked under turret in a bad matchup, even just having them should never happen, right? Because you shouldn't be able to put down vision in that scenario. The box goes down bot side, a bit out of context. And just to extend that point, the top lane should be way more than 20 CS and 1 turret plate. Those control wards aren't there. It's 3 turret plates and even more of a CS lead. So the only reason that Urgot is not just so far down in this game that he's never going to be anything other than an ult is because Sandbox backed him up with vision.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the win condition here is Keen. He gets incredibly far ahead and is the win condition. It's an and after that. That already has to happen. And right now, Sandbox are playing around it and doing a very good job of mitigating what was a pretty beautiful early roam coming in from UCal. It's just not enough. You can't just get that one advantage and play back like a lot of our old school LCK teams have been doing a lot.
Because eventually Elise, who already has given up 5, 6, 7 jungle camps, is going to throw out a cocoon and die randomly, right? That's just how Elise is in the late game. Her best usage is kind of 2015 score, building tank and being a cocoon bot, and that's not going to happen here. Dread will build damage to try to be a diver. He won't have his items fast enough to do that, and the late game is not going to suit him compared to Xin, who has the temporary tankiness. Xin and Elise were pretty much the same champion before the Xin ult was changed, but now you can dive and not die instantly, despite not having a true escape on Xin Zhao. So because of that scenario, like you say, it needs to be a lot of ands, and we're not seeing a lot of ands here. Our grammar's been on point about the Elise comp, which probably tells you that the Elise isn't getting enough done, which feels like heresy after a 3-minute turret dive that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and also it feels a little bit confusing to talk about when this game is so even. Here at 12 minutes in, it's just that you expect more from a composition that we use the word agency a lot, but Afreeca has a lot of agency in the early game, and it slips away as the game goes on.
And still outplay with a big team fight on the Kai'Sa, but we are definitely a skeptic given some of Aiming's struggles in making those big plays and being the late game win condition for Afreeca.
Joker moving on over here just to make sure that everyone is going to be okay. Beach ball not going to land, but thankfully for Sandbox fans, the Winter's Bite also doesn't tag Dove. Did have the dash cannon available to him as Jelly's going to get jumped on. Onfleek doing a lot of damage here with the Hail of Blades. That's going to be a big paddle star onto UCal. He picks up an exhaust there as well as UCal. Is the next paddle star going to land? Because that will be your life. It almost doesn't matter as Onfleek so much damage here, but Dove not going to get that paddle star forward. And UCal is going to limp away. Oh my goodness, Afreeca Freecs, they're just not picking up very many advantages in this mid game.
And it's all as Joker comes top, gets some vision, and they get some advantages. Bot side is up top.
Yeah, there's the disdain. The ultimate is down as Summit. They're trying to lock down Keen. The hook is going to go wide, and Keen not low enough for that Fear Beyond Death to activate.
Phase rush value through the roof there for the Jace, able to get away. No chase available for the rest. Jelly face checking.
Whoa, this is real worrying, but that is the trouble bubble not landing. And Dread being available means that they're not going to get anything for it.
Dove's mana bar was almost entirely gone there, so that was the right call to disengage. Gonna lose out on Scuttle control over the Infernal. Infernal second spawn, Drake of the game. They know that Zoe's on a recall timing. They should 100% start the Drake in this scenario, even if right now Ghost has first reaction over A.
Well, yeah, Ghost is going to be able to move up there, but having the Aurelion Soul here in the pocket, like you say, means that this Drake should definitely go over to the Afreeca Freecs. Certainly a bad news story here for Sandbox at this stage, but it's fantastic that they've been able to get something done. And if that smite wasn't on point, that hook would have stolen that dragon.
I know, and you kind of saw it coming, didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
Not to happen here.
Joker, we're missing Max here in the LCK, and Joker was trying to do his best Max impression. He's stolen with a hook before.
Joker's being so bold right now because he knows the enemy wants to full reset, and he's walking into an area where they have double control ward and a huge vision lead and just trying to delay backs so that they can find some map advantages while the enemy's on a reset. Afreeca just got an advantage on a reset by taking the Infernal. The Sandbox, what you're noticing here that's different to the previous game is that even when Afreeca are strong, they're getting little jabs in. And they're not big punches, but this is kind of like poking at a friend or something when they make a bit of a crude comment. They're trying to stay competitive when Afreeca should be at their strongest so that when Sandbox steady themselves a little bit and it becomes more about macro vision, they'll actually be in a position to fight back.
Yeah, and also when, you know, the Urgot value is going to come in here, he's not just going to get slaughtered in lane by a Jace over and over again, which is what you expect from him. He can jump on forward with his Righteous Glory, things like that, as the Comet Legend is going to come out. The ultimate getting a lot of value here. Out of on Fleek, avoids a lot of those comments as Dread down extremely low. Summit getting the work done, but Dove is the one that finishes it off. Yukao creating beautiful space, and Dove is going to fall down. Keen is going to get the stopwatch out of Onfleek, who walks his way out. The hook lands on the Dragon. See ya, buddy. You can take those stars and you can put them back in because the Death Chamber is where you're going in Sandbox. We'll push up mid. And
Sandbox get to outnumber because they fell back, got the vision down, and the moment that Afreeca started face checking, they got out-traded there, run around the map in a similar way, but looks different, of course, a bit more explosive in game number 2. Ghost and aiming completely separated this time.
Oh yeah, there's the flash, gets the stun with the petrifying gaze as the killer instinct is going to be there, but aiming, is he going to be able to win this one? Oh, Joker in with the save. The auto attack from the Flay would have been enough for Keen. Turns it all around, corrosive charge not enough, and aiming is going to escape from this one. Summit might be following the same suit, but Keen taking a lot of damage. The knockback there, Jelly's going to turn up, but misses the ult completely. Will save Keen for it, but they're not going to be able to get the kill.
Nice smooth moves there, salvage what could have been a really bad scenario for the side of Afreeca Freecs. Dread smartly going to find an objective at the same time. Sandbox once again outnumber, but not actually able to take down the enemy where they stand.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do. Dread is, of course, still squishy, so if Dove gets on over here and lands a choice paddle star, with the information that he now has, he will be able to get some work done. Troll Ward goes down, vision not there. No jungler to speak of just yet, so that means Shelly will be going over to the Afreeca Freecs this time around.
No free lunches, but he should be able to finish one off. The patience bar is pretty low on both the Afreeca fans and this objective.
All right, on Fleet, can he actually get in here? The Flay is going to go back. They do manage to take it down to the Afreeca Freecs, but Dread has to sacrifice himself just to pick it up. And Sandbox now with another advantage with the amount of people they have on the map.
You have to suicide for it there, otherwise you're not getting it. And it's the right call after you wasted all that time taking it down. So you have to go down with the ship if you are the Elise. Remember, this is a 17-minute Rift Herald, not a 12-minute Rift Herald. So it's going to have the preparation. Remember, before we talked about turret plates, meaning you just kind of run into a lane and put down the objective. You actually had to put down forward vision to guarantee the right charge. Is that something Afreeca can do? They've been up and down.
Well, at the moment, Onfleek's health bar is just going down. That's a lot of damage there as Keen going to dive on forward onto Summit. Can Summit actually offer anything back here? He's wanting to try and find a flash, but he doesn't actually have it off cooldown just yet. Goodbye, Summit. The heal is going to be cycled through, but Keen Just going to look for it. Corrosive Charge going to get the slowdown. And meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, there's a lot of damage coming in here. Okay, Dove not going to be able to save his top laner, Afreeca Freecs. No one getting on over there. There's no assists needed. As Dove not going to get stunned from that one, but does use the cleanse regardless. And that's going to be even Shelly joining this parade in the mid lane as Afreeca are finally making some good map calls.
You're right, they are. They're finally getting some charges. Not going to finish it off as they're actually, I believe, a flash used there. That was just maybe the ultimate coming through from Unfleet. They do lose mid lane turret. Longer map now, plenty of room for Yukal to roam through. These are all good moves for Afreeca, but they're not game breakers. They're just actually putting their draft to some use, not to a gold lead use. They are 1,000 gold behind Sandbox.
Yeah, Sandbox still actually in the lead when it comes to the gold, but as this game moves forward, you have to feel that things are looking better and better for the Afreeca Freecs if you compare it to their previous performances. Remember, this is second last, potentially, versus second here in the LCK. It's like Griffin versus Jin Air, but just not quite as bad, if that makes sense. So this will be a huge win for Afreeca if they're even able to pick up a game, as Ghost so close to getting this solo kill, but aiming, playing it out just about as well as you can, as Ghost wishes he had thrown out at least one auto attack before taking that land.
There's one single next level there, and that's when Ghost flashes, knowing that you're always going to get a return Void Seeker trade attempted by the enemy Kai'Sa, and that's when he turned around and got the Petrifying Gaze stun. No kills come up. Summit's a level down, of course, had to deal with being dunked in the early laning phase and only had a heal, no flash, so it's all about wasting time here. Does Keen actually not use? He doesn't use, it's interesting. He must not have had cooldown on...
Yeah, I think he used just regular Shock Blast.
So didn't have cooldown for the Empowered that would have killed. He just wanted to chase, and of course the movement speed advantage was on the Shrine that was available for the Urgot.
Well, now the movement speed advantage is on Sandbox, as they've been able to take down this Cloud Drake. Earth, Wind, and Fire is going to be the Order of Dragons, and also the order of one of my favorite songs. As Sandbox take down the blue buff for Dove, and looking to wrestle back some control here of this map. 2 turrets to 1 means that Afreeca should have a global gold advantage, but at the moment, with the farm going very nicely in favor of the bottom lane for Sandbox, and them getting more turret plates down there, means that Sandbox do have that slight gold lead.
Really, really fun part of the game right now. There's no blowout here. We're seeing the most competitive game of the day by a million miles in this particular one. Things to note, Double Pen just now completed 20 minutes, nothing else. Stiff Breeze and Dread dies to any sort of AoE. The Paddle Star is one-shotting, that's for sure. With the Triforce being slowly cribbed together by Unfleek, he does have a huge lead in farm. Just outrageous lead. That's 16 camp lead.
Dude, he's got a 20 CS lead over his top laner.
Yeah, he is really strong, so I think Triforce is going to come in around 23 minutes. That's early for the
really
jungle.
Early. And he's going to be crazy strong. I actually really like this on a Xin Zhao, actually investing a bit of resources into making him relevant.
Do notice that it's a control build coming through from Cassio, Rylai's, and also the Ceres. High mana, so you can start Baron from it. And your Baron turn with Miasma and also slowing on your Q&E.
As soon as Leandris comes in as well, he's going to cut through the Baron extremely quickly.
Trying to make a pick comp that doesn't require a Trouble Bubble in order to get that first pick. So a lot of objective fighting coming from Sandbox. Here's an ult. Yeah,
ult's going to come out from Jelly and does bait the flash in. Out of Summit. So that's once again an Urgot that is susceptible to a lot of ganks and a lot of pressure, depending on where he's going to be positioned on this map. Can't be using him to go any further forward. It might be Joker having to stand around Summit rather than the Cassiopeia at this stage. Ghost is in the mid lane at the moment.
IE build was preferred from aiming and have the ability to do a lot of damage till later to some of the tankier targets here. No Blade the Ruin King for Stain either. Summit feels strong enough to walk up here. We know that Dread and Jelly are joining.
Yeah, and we know that they also had to get the hell out of there as the Cocoon is going to land. Box comes up, but it's not enough to actually save Summit. You mentioned the double pen. Damn, this Elise does some big damage.
Too greedy walking up there when your flash is down by Summit. Misreads of the map here have been one of the few times he's had some rookie tendencies.
Yeah.
In his first split, actually playing on the active roster. Dove is in a lane against Aurelion Sol. We know that goes well in the 1v1 as Unfleek just says, I'm coming in.
Yeah, tried to sidestep the Voice of Light there, but the knock-up does come in. Yukal has to flash to trade, and now Aiming will dive on top. That is a beautiful bait to come out from the Aurelion Sol, and now it may not even be Dove escaping as Keen dives on forward. Good exhaust to come through as Keen tries to get the prediction flash. Battlestar comes in, that's the boot back, and Dove actually baiting it out for the moment. The Void Seeker comes in, no Killer Instinct, but Empowered Shock Blast, he can't juke everything, and Keen grabs another one.
And you can see that the power in the lanes and their early roam is giving Afreeca a very simple way to play this game. See hero, kill hero, go aggressive on the champions is working, as Sandbox doesn't have the map control game number one, and thus is getting caught being too far up in lanes that usually they're ready to fight for.
Well, at the moment, we've got a jungler and a mid laner dead. Sandbox might need to try and get the Afreeca Freecs off this Baron. We don't have Petrifying Gaze used just yet, but Keen coming in for a flank is really scary. 5 versus 3 here. Hook is going to go wide. Insult. Once again, I mean, I'm sorry for all the introductions, but meet injury once more as Ghost has to flash out of the way. Seraph's shield is going to be there, and that's going to be the kill onto the support. On Fleek trying to do something, but out of the death chamber, straight back in there as the Afreeca Freecs can move back to the Baron if they want to. Don't know whether they're going to. Low health bars. Sandbox at least going to have that.
So many people ramming themselves into 3 or 4, trying to delay the Baron. Does that, but not much else. Keen is starting to pop off in this game. Most experienced player on Afreeca with Spirit out of the roster. Onfleet goes in, and it's already, you're like, I don't really understand why. The teleports are the insult upon injury. You mentioned the deep one from Keen is the most relevant. He's spotted on that control ward. Doesn't miss any skill shots as this particular fight goes on. He starts with the chase here, flashes in, so the Paddle Star's not going to do a lot of damage. They even get the Ender with the EQ. We didn't see the EQ last time. This one on point for Afreeca Freecs. Yeah,
nice one there from Keen, but Dove was in definitely the wrong position. And this was just a 5 versus 3, Pop Smithy, and that's just generally not going to be a great example of League of Legends.
Don't really know why Onfleet goes in after poking. He still goes in. That's the part I don't really get. I guess he wants to kill Kai'Sa, but...
Oh, he almost does too, actually.
Summoner being up, I guess, was the reason there, so that was communicated. If it wasn't, then you can kind of understand it. Regardless, we zoom in on the game. Afreeca have done a lot. They have a huge kill lead, but the gold lead is not game-ending.
No.
At 3,000, not 10% of the gold. And Sandbox still do have a real way in, especially if people start face-checking this Cassiopeia.
I think it's going to be scary. It's okay. Trouble Bubble's going to land. Keen has to use the QSS in order to get out of the way. Thankfully, he did build that one up.
So Braum has, of course, one answer to the next Trouble Bubble. No other QSSs, no other cleanses available other than Yukal, who's going to be wave clearing in mid. So double control ward is actually not just a mistake. Who's to say if it was on purpose or not, but damn, it takes a while, and it gives Dove a time to get his eye in.
Yeah, the really scary thing is, though, is if aiming can actually free hit in a team fight, and a lot of space would be provided by the Aurelion Soul, this is a really scary time, because he's got a Zeal on top of the first 2 items that he wants to be building in an ideal scenario as well. I mean, this isn't the Blade of the Ruined King try and actually have some lane strength. This is Infinity Edge into Ginsu's Rage Blade, ultimate power Kai'Sa.
Don't have eyes on Dove, but I take your point. Aurelion Soul and his ability to control space, an underrated part of his toolset. We always focus on it with yesterday when we had the Sylas mid lane and Swain, another zone control champion. Aurelion Soul, if he doesn't have to worry about being poked to death by Zoe, can have the same team fight impact. Looking at gold numbers here, and Keen running away with top and then some.
Yeah, 900 gold bounty. Only a 451, a measly 450 onto Ghost on the Cassiopeia. Gigantic numbers, though, on Afreeca Freecs' side.
The whole gold lead is doubled, and then you get Keen's gold lead in lane. That is how far ahead. He is 4,000 gold ahead of the Urgot. The Urgot is in ult-only territory at this point in the game. Another reset happens. I actually really want to see the control ward numbers here, because a vision exhaustion scenario and Afreeca having to actually play the macro is something that we've levied a lot of criticism on, and they actually play this Baron macro because they cannot afford to lose the objective.
Yeah, and also, Onfleet can't afford to lose even a little bit of his health bar here as already. These shock blasts are really hurting. Joker down to about half health as that's a trouble bubble. Immediately, the QSS once again put back on cooldown. And Dove, he has to be landing these bubbles. He's their way back into the game if they're going to dance around this Baron. Any sort of pick will help Sandbox find their way back forward.
Only a single control ward right now, none available. Aiming. The Sandbox is focusing on the middle of the screen here.
Supercharge was on cooldown there. It was almost an opportunity for Onfleek to get in. Does have Flash Audacious Charge, so it can cover a lot of distance, but not wanting to dive into the whole of Afreeca Freecs squad.
This is the worst time to be poked out because you desperately want it back.
Whoa, ult from Jelly, and everything else misses.
Yeah, they just did not juke the way that Afreeca expected. But every bit of poke here is so significant because you can't afford to have a disconnected recall when no one on either team has a control ward to put down. The Baron race could be lost in an instant here. Necessitating backs is a way Afreeca can actually get the safe start on the Baron.
Well, Trouble Bubble just going to tag onto Keen. Teleport going to come in here. And that means that once again, you're going to have a stalemate around the Baron. Afreeca, they definitely want to get that poke out, but the waves haven't been kept in control of. You can see that bottom side, thanks observers, as that inner turret may actually just fall to minions that Afreeca cannot actually claim.
Watching here, this is the standstill. A Mexican one once again. We're A-ramming this time, and Sandbox has to opt in. They don't have their vision on Baron to stop making this play. Voidseeker goes wide. Yeah, and that Voidseeker might have actually meant Killer Instinct there as well from aiming. Because having him that far out of the way, you can see as far as item spikes are concerned, OnFleek is a GA away from being absorbently strong. And you've got the Leandries. No vision is the thing I'm going to zoom in on right now. No vision available. Means that Afreeca going to lose control around that objective. That means that walking up here is so scary. Dread will die in an instant. Yep, shallow teleport coming in from Keen there as well. As this Baron has been started. This is one of the early Sandbox Barons, and it's definitely a good thing as Ghost finally going to come in here. Now the Baron is going to take some real damage. Miasma in there. You ain't flashing over that wall. Baron goes over to Sandbox against the run of play, and now Afreeca trying to catch up. It's a good cocoon to land, but that's a heroic ultimate out from OnFleek to get everyone back, and Ghost is free hitting with the ease, aiming also, trying to free hit in the backline as Ghost is going to be taken down, and Kai'Sa could potentially take over this fight. OnFleek has made his way out. The rest of Sandbox looking to make their way out as in goes Joker to sacrifice himself, and Dove even picks up the trade kill. They're only able to get 2 down. That was the Baron dance that we knew.
2 for 2 and Baron though.
Exactly, and that was the big thing here. It played around the vision exhaustion that we were hyping up. There were no wards for Afreeca. They had to back. They were out of position. Double smite means that Summit, level 14, actually a lower level than the enemy jungler, I believe. We'll get the confirmation soon. Still gets the double smite in with his jungler. They lose the Baron, Afreeca Freecs, after so much good work around the top side.
Yeah, it's just a disaster here for Afreeca, and under 1,000 gold is now the difference. Look at this Miasma going over the wall. No one splashing in. Trouble Bubble. They're in the way as well. And there were 2 smites on the side of Sandbox, so that's going to help them.
2 smites, and it's the time to swap over, because you don't need the information. Afreeca knows the Baron should be started, but it's about half a second earlier than they expect. They get the exit kill on the Elise. They will also get a trade kill earlier. You need a team wipe here to actually make this only about the gold and not about some of the buffs, but 3 buffs available for the side of Sandbox.
Look, he's such a hero. Shen in game number 1, now the Thresh in game number 2. Not afraid to throw his life away if he can help his team in any way. And that was almost way worse for the Afreeca Freecs, because Fear Beyond Death got just about to arm, and then the repel happened out of Dread. So that 4-man Fear was denied purely by some good timing and being lucky that it wasn't still there when he came back down again.
And it's such a great metaphor illusion for the greater 5v5 scenario we see of Sandbox players knowing their role, and Afreeca Freecs still being confused, just as very young, brash solo queue players, of what role each player needs to play in every different team comp.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel like Joker knows exactly what he needs to do. He's got all of these weapons, and he needs to point them in the right directions, and he's doing a great job. Aiming, you can't be taking poke damage like that. As Sandbox knocking on the front door, and they've got the Baron buff. See you later, inhibitor turret. That's the kind of paddle stars you need to hit to make Zoe look completely busted.
And it also makes this comp from Afreeca look how it is in a siege scenario against a Baron buff and a Zoe. There's nothing they can do. They're just taking free pokes. Everyone walks up to wave clear. Jace can't do it with an EQ anymore. Aiming tries to trim a wave, and his health bar is trimmed to alarming levels.
Yeah. And this is also exactly the point in the game where Sandbox wanted to be making a move items-wise as well. They've just finished 3 items on the Zoe, as well as the Righteous Glory finally being there for Summit. He's been looking for this item to claim some relevance here, and you got GA on top of the Trinity Force for the ultimate Greed Xin Zhao build out of OnFleek. This guy feels like a solo lane Xin Zhao right now.
He has been able to prosper and may have even end up getting over 100 CS lead, one of those flame horizons on the enemy Elise. And Atlas, at least this game, has had a lot of teaching moments. This game has had a lot to understand about vision exhaustion, and guess what? You went for the Elise, you tried to get the kills, and you got to start, but no more than that. Elise can't Gragas bowl. By that I mean she can't stand behind the pit and contest Baron vision. She just dies in an instant. That was the struggle they had. Speaking of dying in an instant, Keen's a big boy.
Yeah, he's going to boot back Summit here as the ultimate gets thrown into the heavens. As does have the perk. Turret shot in there after the disdain, and Summit says, I'm taking you with me.
The disdain there actually gets the trade card. I didn't even know that cooldown would back up, but it gets the work done.
Oh, good hook comes in. The cleanse is there from UCal, though, and keeps himself alive with the extra tenacity. Inner turret will fall down, however, and without the Jace on the map, man, that would have been so big if Keen had survived, but now it's a 4v4 on this siege, and it's a dangerous one. Teleport available for Summit, not for Keen. No flank from this Jace. He's going to be coming in here. Base could be broken in another place right now.
While they don't have great siege champions, damn do they have great poke damage. That means that a Cassiopeia comp almost pokes down the inhibitor turret at 33 minutes. Jay still 10 seconds from respawn. They're going to back away, though. Not going to take any more risks. Baron, the Elder, the big objectives are on the way.
Yeah, just so heroic here from Summit. I'm glad that he gets a bit of a zoom as he walks back out, because that siege on the top side, all of that damage on the top inhibitor turret would not have happened if the Jace was alive, because then 5 versus 4, and nothing going to be happening there. So we're going to have a look at this 1v1 yet again. Keen, of course, way stronger than Summit at this stage.
It's a 1-for-1, but as far as I know, there should have been a very significant bounty onto Keen in this fight.
Only 3 because he died earlier on and didn't actually have the overflow bounty just yet.
I'm focused on the kill score of 8, 2, and 5 after the play, because there's still a 1,000 gold bounty on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
The bounties are still big, but like you mentioned, not actually a punishment there.
Orchid's going to land onto Jelly. Might be the pick-off, but no. Joker has to be very careful, and Trouble Bubble not going to be acted on here as on fleek. GA still in hand. Winter's Bite not finding the mark.
Where are we at vision-wise? What I need to know. Of course, zooming in on the game, because the pivotal last team fight might happen now.
Whoa, Flash Cocoon, but Ghost is immediately going to go into the Zhonya. Summit is now going to try and body block as Dread drops on top of him, and a lot of damage now onto the Elise. Remember, very squishy build coming in. Inside track being taken from the Afreeca Freecs. 2 seconds on the Baron. In a turret trade for Baron might be the call here as they move over to the Elder Drake. 2 dragons apiece for both of these teams. It looks like Sandbox want to go for the trade. They've started this immediately, and the Elder is in fact going to come in now for the Afreeca Freecs. So can Sandbox actually play around this and not engage the Elder buff team?
This is a really interesting trade to consider because it's multifaceted. The first thing to understand is that Sandbox's comp sucks at chasing. They're much better when the enemy comes to them, and they had all the vision set up around Baron. You want people to be face-checking over walls, for Paddlestar and the other tools to be used. So actually chasing into Elder is really hard for these 5 champs to pull off. Afreeca don't want to give up Baron because they can't deal with the Zoe poke under their turrets and the buffed up minions, but they don't really have a choice to contest because they can't face-check either. So it actually ends up being as close to 50-50 as you're going to get in this scenario, and yet the right Trouble Bubble and the punishment from Sandbox can be huge.
Yeah, Elder Drake giving you burn damage on your autos and your spells ain't really going to help if you're dead. It's exactly right. His aiming is playing very far forward. They know that they really want to do something with this buff. They can see how powerful they are. It's circulating them with the beautiful little particle effect, but it's just being denied. Sandbox have cleared out so much vision. They've cleared out all of the minion waves, and Afreeca Freecs now have to use this Elder Drake to farm and wave manage.
But I'm so admiring the fact that often when we have any sort of trade of Elder and Baron, there's a very clear winner. To me, given the game state and the champions and everything involved, this is the closest to a 50-50 trade of Elder and Baron that I've seen in a game that I've cast. It's an empowered Infernal, so of course the battle stats there are really important. Now the game is still pretty much at parity, but those battle stats can really be wielded by Afreeca, and you can say on a Sandbox side, yes, you have to respect the double Elder buff now, but you have a comp that has plenty of time to put down the vision and get the double Elder team to come to you.
The only sort of counterpoint that I would have is that because it's not the second Elder Drake, you're going to have Baron for a little bit longer. So if Sandbox can actually time this, they still have a little bit of Baron Siege timing. But I do see what you mean. Afreeca Freecs, they want to be able to fight. They want to be able to start something up.
So does Sandbox, like you mentioned, mill them around for 25 seconds and then have 50 seconds to say, we're doing something, what you're going to do. Now, there's no Baron for them to run over. There's no overlapping buffs here because both teams are wearing one. So it's actually hard to force a fight. But if you're hoping to force a mistake, Freecs have made some positional mistakes over the course of the last few series.
And right now, you've got Freecs trying to get down this mid lane. Sandbox trying not to get routed. They don't want to let Freecs have the inside track, as now a minute is on the Baron, and there's no Elder Drake available as on Fleek. All right, he's going to get a little bit of a stab there onto Dread, who takes some reasonable damage.
Closest to a 0 power play I've seen in a long time as well.
Yeah, negative 107.
Showing a lot of respect to Sandbox, understandably. Now's the time to push up a little bit. So just the one more minion wave is the best you're going to get. Summit says, I'd like to get some turret damage if possible, please. Yep,
inside track in the enemy jungle means that Joker keeps Summit safe here as well. Keen not going to be able to offer too much. As Shock Blast can hit Joker as a welcome message. That is not the welcome that you want.
Standing in front of this last cannon minion. Here's the wave. They're going to get most of the time on this wave, and it seems that the only objective they claim is after the Elder goes away on the inner turret.
Yeah, so that is going to mean that the power play does equal, you know, at least positive numbers, but if you think about it, that denies the Freecs having any sort of Elder Drake power play as well. As Trouble Bubble not going to land.
Redemption picked up from Dove as well, but the siege is not with Baron buff minions, so actually Afreeca can walk up and not give up 3 or 4 rounds of Paddle Stars worth of damage.
Oh, ow!
I don't know. I think aiming has just a homing signal on it.
Yeah, I mean, aiming is teaching everybody else how to do the aiming, I guess. I don't know. It's very confusing.
Maybe he should rename himself to Catch.
Or Magnet. Yeah, one of those. Trouble Bubbles certainly are no trouble for aiming, as we've seen exemplified in previous series.
So let's zoom out a bit, because we've been so focused on the vision battles to understand where the game is at item-wise. As items starting to be stacked up, we're seeing full item build on aiming.
Yeah, this Kai'Sa is super big.
He has so much farm and has been able to put together 75% crit build and also all the other staples. There is more item spots open on the side of Sandbox. They can actually have 10 control wards in the infantry right now. But if you look at Afreeca, they're playing a solo queue style. They've got power. They've got amp tomes in the inventory. I'm really a huge hater on amp tome in Elise's inventory. What does that do exactly?
Not a control ward. Papa is definitely not one of those. Aiming does sidestep the corrosive charge.
They should get some blue trinkets if they're going to have amp tomes, because they can't battle for vision with no inventory space for control wards.
Yeah, well, Summit now also, he's basically as battle ready as an Urgot's ever going to be. As Keen, he's going to get exhausted. Good disdain to come back as another ultimate is going to miss. Summit made the play, but Keen had the QSS. So is going to be able to dodge out of the ultimate this time around.
Afreeca can't put down wards. They don't have them in their inventory spots to do so. So Afreeca need to find a pick. They're looking for a mistake, not finding one. The fallback Elder or Baron is so much easier for Sandbox. And I can't see another 50-50. There's the hook.
Yeah, Joker going to land another one, and the vision game is just being won by Sandbox in almost every regard. But Summit, if he's standing too close, things could become a problem. Freecs throwing out a lot of their buttons here as Summit does use his cleanse. In goes on Fleek, but this could be a mistake as he dives back. A lot of buttons are going to be used there, but Yucal not going to be doing too much. Aiming, frontlining on the Kai'Sa, and he's going to survive. No kill's going to come off just yet. Not even the GA, as on Fleek sidesteps the stun. Flash forward. Oh no, Ghost. He makes the first mistake in the fight, and now Dread trying to follow on further. Dove, no trouble bubble there as Summit. He comes on up, and it's a double kill for the Kai'Sa, and we know what this guy's capable of now. The Kai'Sa is so strong, and Dread grabs another kill on the back end. Afreeca should be able to get Sandbox here.
They should end the game here. They have a huge man advantage. Xin Zhao can't even stop the minion wave from pushing in. They're going to push in and end, and I think Sandbox lambs the slaughter.
Yep, Dove is probably going to have at least another paddle star to try and get something, as at least he's able to clear out some minions. On Fleek clears away the Elise, but they can't kill aiming, and he's going to take down the Nexus with 2 auto attacks.
Freecs able to take it in the clutch. Sandbox Gaming, they tried to poke so aggressively, but their chase damage wasn't there like we noted earlier, and in that case, they are too greedy. The Cassiopeia further commits after the rest of the team was on the disengage. That proves to be the wrong choice, and we're going to game 3 for the first time in a while.
Yeah, and the Freecs just change on a dime. From game number 1, they rolled over. They didn't know what to do in the late game. They made terrible choices. This game, They were cool, calm, and collected, waiting around there in the mid-game, and I honestly thought, Papa, I want to admit this to you, that Aiming wasn't going to be able to avoid making a mistake all throughout that late game, because so far this season, he has been making missteps, he has been out of position. This time around, though, absolutely beautiful stuff. As you can see, the Afreeca fans very happy that finally they're able to get one back here.
And that's just to get and stay in the series. That's the stress the fans are feeling. Can you even imagine how the players are truly feeling while they're trying to master their emotions, knowing this series is there to be won? Sandbox Gaming were in a really good spot to win that game because they had the ability to put down more vision after the next reset. However, they got too greedy, trying to poke, trying to hard engage, trying to get in the face of the enemy. They didn't have an exit plan, they only had an entrance plan. And the exit there was the big problem for Sandbox, as in that passage of play, Afreeca Freecs closed it out.
Yeah. Just so cool that we can see both of these top laners playing so exemplary on the Jace pick, one game after the other. You have to be feeling like Keen's going to be able to grab that MVP despite that 1-for-1 on the bottom side of the map. He was still able to do so much work. In the early game, I mean, the game could have been just straight up over if the Jace hadn't have dominated that laning phase. They ticked that one off the list, and they got to a late game with a Kai'Sa with 6 items, and then that was all she wrote.
Just need to keep the game simple. That's what Afreeca Freecs need. They need to see everyone in vision and try to find a big play, and they found the right player. Aiming pulled it off, and that means we get that game 3.
Yeah, we get that game 3, but I don't think we're going to be seeing Jace over in this game as well. We're going to be able to check out some stats from this game. Excited to see who's going to be able to deal the most damage, because I feel like Aiming's, damage number is not going to be super high. 22.9k is a big number, but 40.4?
That's what happens when you're in a good matchup and you're just putting down damage in lane, but also damage in those team fights. Huge amount of DPM for a Jace. It's almost 1,000 DPM for a top lane Jace in this game.
Yeah, and look at that gold graph as well. Sandbox, it's a bit of a heart monitor here at this stage. You can see where the pulse quickened towards the late game, but ultimately Sandbox fell off that cliff as their Cassiopeia bit the dust. And this is Ghost making that misstep, not finding the stun with the petrifying gaze. You have to feel that if Aiming had have been facing the snake at that point in time, could have been a very different result. But man, I'm just so glad that we're going to a game number 3, because today hasn't been the most competitive League of Legends. After the break,